Hello everybody, welcome to the video. This is a team deathmatch that I had playing with a subscriber, or at least someone on my friends list that I think is a subscriber. Anyways, this is a team deathmatch I had playing with him. I believe it's on the map Skid Row. I don't like this map. It's a shotgun friendly map, but at the same time, when you're running a 2-bar, shotguns are not always necessarily your friend. A lot of times, this is the only map that I actually camp on. I will camp those stairs all day long. I will. I'll do it. I'm not afraid to admit it. I will head glitch those stairs, and I think we all know what stairs I'm talking about. I will head glitch those stairs like a motherfucker. Just sit there with the FAMAS, and you're unstoppable. You run ninja, you run a headset so you can hear people running through the tunnel at you. You set down your scavenger claymores. But anyways, that's not exactly what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is anything but the gameplay. I was on Twitter and I saw a whole bunch of tweets about Chris Jericho and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and I was thinking, wrestling. And I was like, I miss wrestling. Now you're probably thinking, well, yeah, I used to watch it too. I haven't actually watched wrestling in God knows how many years. Once in a while I get up to date on it, but I don't exactly watch it because, one, I think the product is downhill, but two, is another reason I can't watch it is because I used to be a professional wrestler. So it's kind of hard to watch it and not overanalyze it, be overcritical of it, be like, oh, they're using this Memphis opener and that spot right there isn't going to go over well, and if they're really good, they're going to cap that pop. And it's just, you can't actually watch it for what it is and be entertained by it anymore. It's kind of like when you learn how to play an instrument and you learn how to master the instrument. Every time you hear that instrument used in music, especially your style of music, all you can do is think critically of it, especially if it's your own music. You can't actually just enjoy the music anymore. So I can't enjoy wrestling anymore. But I wanted to maybe do a few videos of just talking about my wrestling career. It was very short-lived. Well, actually, it wasn't that short-lived. It was pretty lengthy. It was pretty successful, and it took off pretty well. But at the same time, it was cut short by a whole bunch of different reasons. But it all started when my mom and my dad got divorced, and I think I was 8 or 9 years old. And my mom met this new guy. His name was Chad, and he loved wrestling. I knew about wrestling when I was a kid because I knew about like Hulk Hogan, because even if you don't know a lick about wrestling, everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is. He's, you know, bigger than the sport of wrestling. And yes, wrestling is a sport, and I'll get into that later. But he loved wrestling, so of course I knew what it was, so I'd at least watch it, and I was entertained by it, and I was truly engrossed by it and entertained by it, and it was just really nice to watch. And I didn't really like him at first, but you know, wrestling is one thing we had in common. Turns out he's what I later referred to as a mark. He is a wrestling historian. He can tell you who did what, when, where, you know, because he watched it all. He's a first-hand resource of wrestling history. It's quite amazing, and he loved wrestling, and it was just his passion. Him and his brother and his sister, my aunt and uncle, it was their passion. So eventually wrestling became my passion, and then this was right in the time of the infamous Monday Night Wars. Most wrestling fans, I think, or most people that watch my channel, are actually probably too young to remember cognitively what the Monday Night War was, but it was when WCW and WWF at the time both had a Monday night wrestling show, and they would compete for ratings, and the product was great, wrestling was great. It was a boom. In fact, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion, it was wrestling's pinnacle time for everything included. I think it was bigger than Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper in the 80s, the war to settle the score. I think it was bigger than that. I really do. So I loved wrestling, and watching it time in and time out, it was great. Well, when I got about 16, 17, I was thinking, hey, maybe I could become a wrestler, because my brother and his friend Owen knew a guy who ran an independent wrestling promotion, and they kind of like got to help set up the ring and whatever, and got used as marked labor. Eventually, I started hanging around these independent wrestling shows, and I started talking with some of the promoters and the trainers, and I started being trained as a wrestler, and that's just how it all started. In fact, in the midst of my training, I took to it very easily because I played football in high school, and I was a great athlete in high school, and wrestling carried over into that because I still had my strength and conditioning from playing football and whatnot. Because my football career, my high school football career, I didn't want to go on and play in the college. I thought that was kind of, I don't know, pathetic in my opinion. So my football career was over, and I decided to translate that into wrestling because I still like sports, I still like athletics, I still like very much being active. So when training came along, I was very much into taking on the training, and I could do the moves and I could take the bumps, and that was all easy, and anyone can learn that stuff. But the other side of it, the psychology of wrestling, the mindset of it, the emotional and intellectual properties that you need to possess and know when and how to use and all that, that stuff just came so natural to me. I don't know if it was from watching wrestling or being the fact that I'm a sociopath intellectual. I have no idea, but that stuff just came really natural to me. So wrestling as a whole came natural to me, and it parlayed into a nice little independent wrestling career. So in the next video, I'll talk about what happened in the wrestling career, some interesting stories, and then eventually how it ended and the aftermath of it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to hear more wrestling stories. Follow me on Twitter. The link's in the description. I hope you had a good day. Goodbye.